Alright, by the end of this video, you guys will know exactly how to lose weight. Luckily for you, weight loss is actually a little more simpler than building muscle. Because to lose weight, you literally have to do one, and I mean only one thing. In this video, I will show you guys exactly how to do that one thing, along with some ways you can supplement that one thing. Now, before I get into the video, I'm going to ask you to subscribe to my channel. I literally upload like 3 to 5 videos a day. If you're looking to lose weight and or build muscle, I 100% guarantee I can help you out. Anyways, let's get into the video. The only single thing you need to do to lose weight is eat in a calorie deficit. You could literally do all the cardio in the world, eat all of the clean foods in the world, exercise 5 times a day. If you are not eating in a calorie deficit, you will never lose weight. Now, there's 2 ways to create this calorie deficit. 1, increase your activity level, or 2, cut back on calories. To be completely honest with you, the main one I would focus on is the diet and cutting back on calories. The reason being is because it's much harder to increase your activity level to get into a calorie deficit rather than simply eating less food. Not many people are going to be able to get up day in and day out and go for like a 3-mile run. And 2, more importantly, you cannot out-train a bad diet. You could burn all the calories in the world. If you are still overeating in food, then you will never lose weight. Therefore, to lose weight, the main thing you should be focusing on is how many calories you are taking in through your diet. In order to calculate how many calories you should be eating for weight loss, you have a couple of options. I made a video where I went in depth about this topic that you can check out up here. But for now, honestly, I would just simply put it in an online calorie calculator, or just take your body weight in pounds and times that number by 12. That number right there, your body weight in pounds times 12, is going to be a very safe estimate as to how many calories you should be eating to lose weight for the vast majority of people watching this video. Now, depending on your activity level, age, genetics, etc., you may have to do some playing around with that number. But for, the average person who is like moderately active, training a few days a week, working like a 9-to-5 job, this number should be pretty spot on. And for now, I would aim to eat that many calories a day. That number I gave you, your body weight in pounds times 12, should put you on pace to be in a minus 500 calorie daily deficit. Now, 3,500 calories are the equivalent of 1 pound. So if you ate in a minus 500 calorie deficit for 7 days, that would put you on pace to lose about a pound a week. Now, this is definitely what I recommend when losing weight. I recommend just going slow and steady. Unless you're like really overweight, then maybe you could aim to lose about 2 pounds a week. But the main issue is, sure, yes, if you went even lower in calories than that, you would lose weight faster, but it's also going to be much harder to sustain. You are more than likely really going to have to starve yourself. You're gonna be really hungry. You're gonna have a really difficult time satisfying cravings, and this could end up resulting in the dreaded binge restrict cycle. So I recommend just shooting for a smaller minus 500 calorie daily deficit. Now, that's really all you need to do. 1, you need to find out how many calories you should be eating to lose weight. And then 2, you simply need to eat that many calories a day. However, there are a couple of things you are going to run into and a couple of things that you should be aware of. First of all, I don't care who you are or what your goal is. Weight loss is not going to be just a linear downward slope. Like, no, that is literally impossible. Which leads me to my next point. I would try and get in a habit of weighing yourself at the same time every day. Best case scenario, first thing in the morning. First thing in the morning is by far the best time to weigh yourself. Because 1, it's gonna be constant progression. There are so many things that can like skew the weigh-ins. So if you are weighing yourself first thing in the morning, then you are always going to be on an empty stomach. It's going to be the single best thing you can do to keep all of the other variables that can skew in a weigh-in at bay. Now, the main reason I do recommend weighing yourself every single morning is because it's pretty damn hard to track progress if you have no idea if the scale is going down. It's almost impossible to look in a mirror on a week-to-week basis and just eyeball if you are losing weight or not. Now, here is one thing you have to keep in mind. Like I said, weight loss is not going to be a linear downward slope. There are so many things that can skew a weigh-in, such as the food you ate beforehand, which is why I recommend doing it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, stress levels, exercise, how many carbs or how much sodium you had the day prior. So many things can affect the weigh-in. So that being said, the goal is to see some sort of downward trend. It doesn't have to be a straight line. It's gonna look something like this, all right? You're gonna have bad weigh-ins. That doesn't necessarily mean that you are not losing weight. The only thing you should be concerned about is just seeing some sort of downward trend. The second reason why I do recommend weighing yourself every single morning is because that way you can adjust your calorie intake based on your weigh-ins. So say you lose a pound or 2. Simply take your new body weight and continue to times that number by 12 and then continue to eat that many calories a day. Now, obviously, there's not going to be drastic changes to your calorie intake every week, but you are probably going to have to lower the calories a tiny bit every single week to ensure that you are continuing to lose about a pound a week. Now here is another thing that you have to be aware of. Like I said, weight loss is not going to be a downward linear slope because there's a bunch of factors that can shift weigh-ins, and two, your body does not like being in a calorie deficit for long periods of time. Eventually, when you have been eating in a calorie deficit for a while, your appetite is going to increase. Your hunger hormone is going to be knocking on the door, and that's basically your body telling you it needs a break from the diet. Now listen, diet breaks are not bad at all. In fact, I 100% recommend taking diet breaks. Do you want to know the single biggest weight loss mistake people make? It's when they've been dieting down for, 2 or 3 months, they start to get hungry again and they resist the hunger, and this ultimately ends up in the binge restrict cycle. It's a never-ending horrible cycle. Well, actually it can end, and you probably won't even get into it if you listen to what I'm about to say. When you start to get really hungry again and start to have all these cravings, the single worst thing you can do is fight these cravings. This is just going to make you go so ravenous, and then you are going to binge. I literally have been in the same cycle for months at a time. Instead, what you are going to want to do is simply increase your calories for a little bit and just eat at maintenance for a couple weeks. Shit, you could even eat in a small surplus for a couple weeks. Say you started dieting 8 weeks ago and you lost 8 pounds, then who cares if you cheat on a diet for a little bit and gain like a pound over the course of 2 weeks? That's still a net loss of 7 pounds. And then bang, you're gonna satisfy those cravings, your hunger hormone will go away, and you'll be ready to eat in a calorie deficit again and lose those next few pounds. Alright, so this goes back on the whole topic that weight loss is not like this. Lose like 4 to 8 pounds, maintain for a couple weeks. Lose like 4 to 8 pounds, maintain for a couple weeks. That is how weight loss should look, and that is by far the easiest way to sustain eating in a calorie deficit for a long period of time. Okay, so now that you know the essentials for weight loss, here are some things you can do to supplement that with. Now, to be honest, there are dozens of smaller things that you could do to help you get into that calorie deficit, assuming your overall diet is in check. But here are some bigger ones that I recommend doing. Now the first one, to an extent, is cardio. To be completely honest with you, in my opinion, cardio is extremely overrated. For example, obviously this is going to depend on how much you weigh and how fast you ran, but the average person will burn about 100 calories per mile ran. So, say if you went for a 3-mile run, which is quite a bit of effort, you would only burn like 300 calories. Now sure, this could help, but here are some things to keep in mind. One, that's a ton of effort and will probably be really challenging to stick to, waking up and going for a 3-mile run every single day. 2, forms of cardio like that, such as running, biking, and swimming, will increase your appetite. And 3, burning 300 calories, again, really isn't that worth it, considering it will increase your appetite. 300 calories is like the equivalent of an apple and a Nature Valley bar, or 3 spoonfuls of peanut butter. You honestly might have been better off just sitting on the couch and not increasing your appetite. Cardio is healthy for you and good for cardiovascular health, but to be completely honest with you, for pure weight loss, it is extremely overrated. Instead, I recommend getting 10,000 steps a day, because 1, that will burn more calories than most traditional forms of cardio. 10K steps a day will burn anywhere between 300 to 500 calories a day, depending on how much you weigh. 2, it won't increase your appetite like the other forms of cardio. And 3, it's low intensity and anyone can do it. Getting 10,000 steps a day in would be a great tool to help you lose weight. 2, honestly, I do recommend eating a high protein diet. Obviously, if you are cutting, you are going to need a high protein diet to spare muscle mass. Technically, if your only goal is weight loss and you do not care about muscle mass, you do not need to eat a high protein diet, but I still recommend it because protein is by far the most satiating macro. So by eating a lot of protein, you'll be more likely to be full, which will help you take in less calories, therefore helping the calorie deficit. 3, I do recommend trying to get a good night's sleep every night. Like 7 to 9 hours a night would be great. I've heard people say that when you're sleeping, you're magically burning calories, which is bullshit. The reason why sleeping may help you a little bit is simply because if you are sleeping 8 hours a night, then there's only 16 hours where you can eat food and take in calories, compared to, if you only got 4 hours of sleep, simply because there would be 20 hours of the day where you could eat and take in calories. Also, by getting a good night's sleep, you'll probably be more motivated and more active throughout the day, which could lead to you burning more calories and you more likely to be hungry, to lose weight, and stick to the calorie deficit. And then 3, if possible, I do recommend doing some sort of resistance training at least 3 times a week. The reason being is because the more muscle mass you have, the higher your BMR will be. In other words, you'll be burning more calories at rest, which could help you stay lean and get lean. And then finally, some people do find that by drinking a lot of water, it can help them lose weight because water might suppress your appetite a little bit, so you could try that as well. But again, these are all just smaller things that you can supplement with. To really lose weight, you need to be eating in a calorie deficit like I said in the first part of the video. So yeah, that is everything you need to know about weight loss. That is exactly how you are going to lose weight. Now, at the end of the day, none of this will work unless you find a diet you can stick to and enjoy. Weight loss is a long-term thing, and you are not going to be able to rely on sheer willpower to lose weight in the long term. I'm sure if you absolutely sucked it up and relied on willpower, you could get down to a decent body fat percentage, take a picture in the mirror, show it to all your friends, but then eventually, I guarantee you will end up skyrocketing back up, because if you hate your diet, then you are not going to stick to it. So I have laid out every single thing you need to do, but you will need to find a diet that you can stick to and enjoy. I don't care if it's 3 square meals, 4 to 6 smaller meals, keto. My personal favorite is intermittent fasting, which I will be dropping a very detailed video about soon. But still, everyone's going to be different. What matters is that you find a diet that you love and can actually stick to in the long term. I hope this video helped you guys out. If it did, make sure you drop a like and consider subscribing, and leave a comment down below if there's any other topics you would like me to go over about anything fitness related. Peace.